present here in the council room and all those who are on Zoom, or parents, spouses, family members, students, all. Well, let me also acknowledge the president of our guild president, Ms. Danielle Mullins. Good morning, one and all. I am truly delighted to welcome you to this very important session that we have planned for our parents, spouses, family members of the newest members of the UWI Mona campus. I'm truly delighted to be able to welcome you to this session. We are happy that you chose our university. We are happy that you chose this campus. We are very much aware that you have choices, and yet you opted to make the Mona campus of the University of the West Indies your place for the pursuit of higher education. We are truly delighted that you made that choice. And we are committed to ensure that you will enjoy the sojourn here on the campus, and that you will continue to feel proud of that choice that you made. Now is the time for higher education. We are mindful, ladies and gentlemen, of the challenges that we are experiencing owing to this global pandemic. We know that many of you would have been impacted directly and indirectly. We stand with you and we commit to make this journey as seamless and as productive and as memorable as possible. Our quest, our desire, our commitment is to deliver exceptional teaching and learning experiences for your child or your ward. And we see our parents and family members as critical stakeholders in the process. We view you as very important partners in the process. And so here we are today sharing with you some critical information we believe that will help you to make this a successful journey. And so we welcome you. In truth and in fact, we would have wanted to have opened the campus to you, for you to be here physically in this space and to just enjoy the beauty of the Mona campus. But we understand the challenges of the time, and so we are coming to you in a digital format. But it is still with all the warmth and the love in our hearts that we greet you and we embrace you, though we really would have wanted for you to be physically on the campus. But the fact of the matter is that we want to maintain the connection and the community, whether or not you are here physically with us or you are benefiting from what we have to offer in the virtual space. Parents and family members, we acknowledge and recognize the significant role that you would have played in your child or ward being matriculated to the Mona campus of the University of the West Indies. Many of you would have spent sleepless nights. Many of you would have gone beyond the financial resources that you even have. But you found a way to ensure that your child or ward was supported in this journey to higher education. And so we commend you for that invaluable work and contribution that you have made over time. And this is not the end of the journey. So having brought them through early childhood education, primary education, secondary education, and here they are now at the tertiary level, we want for you to continue to play an integral role in this journey. The role that you play may be a little bit different because parenting a student at the tertiary level is very different from parenting a student at the secondary level. But regardless of that, we want for you to continue to maintain an important presence in the life of your child or ward as they navigate the Mona campus of the University of the West Indies. And today we want to help you with that process. And going through the years, as they sojourn the campus, we want to help you in understanding that important role that you play. We want to help you to understand that this too is your community. And so, despite the challenges of COVID-19, we understand the importance of community. And so we say to you that we are courageously cultivating community. The Mona campus of the University of the West Indies is not about to small up itself, because we remain the premier tertiary level institution this side of the region. And we hold that dearly. And so despite the challenges, we want to cultivate community, because we understand the importance of community in the lives of our students. And you, parent, you, family member, you, spouse, have a role to play as we seek to engender community, as we courageously cultivate community. And so today, the session is designed to help you to have a better understanding of the university space, to make you aware of the programs and services that are designed intentionally for your child or your ward. We want to provide you with academic information around finances, and just any other information that we deem necessary or you may find important to help you in this process as your child navigates the campus. And so it's my distinct pleasure as the Director of Student Services here at the Mona campus of the West Indies to welcome you on behalf of the management of the institution, and to say we truly look forward to your being important partners with us as we provide an environment that is conducive to the success or fostering the success of your child or ward. Welcome to the Mona campus of the University of the West Indies. We look forward to this partnership, and we look forward to a successful sojourn as your child navigates the campus. Thank you. It is now my distinct pleasure and privilege to make welcome and to invite to share with you at this point in time Professor Ian Boxell, the Deputy Principal of the Mona campus of the University of the West Indies. Over to you, Professor Boxell.
Thank you very much, Jason McKenzie, who is the Director of the Office of Student Services and Development. I just recognize the registrar who walked in. Many of you may not know the registrar is a preacher, so I'm sure, registrar, you would have left your flock well looked after to join us here with our parents. The Deputy Registrar, of course, other colleagues, and how can I forget our Guild President, and the most important persons here today, the parents, the guardians of the students who will soon enter the hallowed surroundings of the University of the West Indies, Mona. Albeit in a virtual sense, but hopefully in the not too distant future, we expect that they will actually be walking onto the campus of the University of the West Indies, Mona. As Jason McKenzie has said, we have been challenged since 2020, March, with making adjustments because of the COVID-19 virus, and we continue to do so. And parents and guardians, we want to leave you reassured that even though we have made a switch, we continue to ensure that the high standards of the University of the West Indies are maintained. Going forward, we do not know for sure what will happen, but hopefully, with the arrival of vaccines, we expect that in the not too distant future, your child or ward may be able to engage with the staff and other peers of his or her on the campus in a way in which others would have had a similar experience many, many years ago, certainly as I would have had on this campus. A university education is more than the transfer of knowledge from one source to the next. It is also the engagement with that knowledge. And I like to quote Einstein, Albert Einstein, who said that imagination is more important than knowledge, because imagination has a way of unlocking that knowledge which we often seek to find. So a university education, by coming onto this campus, university education allows the person to engage in multiple ways to stretch that imagination and to use that knowledge to the benefit of the society. So we give you our assurance that as soon as the time permits, as soon as we get the clearance from the relevant authorities, that individual, your child or ward, will be able to engage with us in a way in which we think is most profitable for that child going forward with the University of the West Indies education. We would like to thank you for bearing with us, and we would like to continue to ask for your support. I would like to make a strong appeal to parents, for those who may be having financial difficulties, that remember there is a Student Loan Bureau. And so far, while many students have accessed the resources there, the Students Loan Bureau, it's still very much open to helping our students. We know it is difficult. COVID has made life very difficult for most people. But there are options, and we encourage you to take advantage of those options. Many universities across the world, in the UK, in the USA, will be having face-to-face classes come next semester. But as I said, as time progresses, we expect to get back to that mode. I want to leave you by wishing all of you a successful new entry into the University of the West Indies. And rest assured that the University of the West Indies is here as a partner to work with you to ensure that your child or ward gets the necessary support in order to complete an education here. We value your engagement, we value your partnership, and we are open to ideas and suggestions about how we can make life even better for all of us. So thank you. Thank you for choosing the University of the West Indies, and we look forward to working with you during this academic year and the years ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Principal Boxhill. We value our students here at the Mona campus, and we include and involve our students in everything that we do. Our student leaders sit at the highest level of decision making here on the campus. The head of the student body, the leadership of the student government, is the president of the Guild of Students. We have a very dynamic person representing that office today in the form of Ms. Danielle Mullins, the president of the Guild of Students. And it's my pleasure to invite her to bring greetings to you at this point in time.
Of our very much valued student population. So I have a quick presentation to share with everyone. I figured I'd utilize this opportunity to also share some perspectives from students to how they wish that their parents or family would have supported them as they went through this journey. So I am going to start off with the next slide just by saying welcome. As I said before, it is my distinguished pleasure to be bringing greetings And over to the next slide. Quickly, what is the Guild of Students? Because many persons are going to be looking on and saying, well, firstly, who is speaking to me and what is the body that she represents? So the Guild of Students refers to every single student that is a part of the University of the West Indies. And the Guild Council is going to be comprised of the elected student leaders from the UWI Guild of Students that are in charge of advocating on their behalf and aiding in their overall development and experience at the University of the West Indies. So that's very big. That's what we do. So I want to move to the next slide, which is asking, how can we empower students to have a great university experience, and especially from your perspective as parents, guardians, family members, and overall just well-wishers. And the next slide there would show 4 main points that I'm going to be presenting to you today. So number 1 is communication. I think the foundation of any good relationship is going to be communicating, when changes happen, when difficulties are occurring, etc. Communication is that bedrock. So number 1, I'm going to encourage you to communicate with your child, ward, etc. Ensure that you're hearing what problems they're having. Ensure you're listening to them when they're having even successes in life, etc. Be that person that they can be sure and trust in. Be sure in that you're there to support them, essentially. Second is mental health, and that has become even more important, especially in this online dynamic. It's a crucial area because it's something that we easily overlook. So ensure that your child is eating, sleeping, getting some exercise. Ensure that they have a support group, whether it be friends or family or church, etc. Ensure that mentally speaking, your child is also well supported. The third one I'd put forward is academic support. Sometimes students may, feel shy or so on to say that, boy, they need some help with this subject or that subject. So ensure that, you're not being a dictator per se, but you check in every now and then to say, how is school going? Are you okay with your classes? Is there any area that you may need additional support with? What method of studying is best for you? Can you do study groups with your friends, etc.? And the last one I would speak to is getting involved. And that is because in order to develop the entire student, the whole person, academics is going to be one side of it, but also joining clubs, getting a leadership position perhaps. All of this really contributes to the entire student that you want to be developing here. And on the next slide, I quickly speak to balance. It is important for not only the student, but also the parents and those around them to also have a firm understanding of what is important to the student during these crucial developmental years of their life. So self-care is important, personal responsibilities, of course, schoolwork, friendships, relationships, etc. It's important to think of the child as a whole person because these are, again, as I said, developmental years. Encourage them to acknowledge how they feel, what they think can be enhanced to make their experience better, how they think you can communicate with them in order to be better. Overall, the name of the game, I would say, is balance and communication. And on the next slide, as I said earlier, getting involved is extremely important. UWI is a melting pot of cultures, academia, and ultimately just people. So I encourage the students and you as parents and guardians to also explore, speak to new people, get to know the different members of the university, whether it be administration or the various departments and so on that are at your disposal. But overall, it allows us to have a great experience that consists of, like the last slide says, personal growth, networking, exposure to careers, skill building, leadership training, public speaking opportunities, etc. When we're looking at developing the whole person in addition to, getting those grades and being excellent students. So as I said, I just quickly wanted to share some tips from the perspective of a student looking on to say what kind of support would we want from our parents, our family members, guardians, etc. And I'm happy to share all of this with you. Of course, I look forward to engaging each of the students as they come on campus, whether virtually or in person, whenever that is to happen. But it has been my distinguished pleasure to bring you greetings today, and I hope we enjoy the rest of the presentation.
Thank you so very much, Danielle. Ladies and gentlemen, we will continue with the program, a program that will last for just a few hours, meaning that there are key matters that we will share with you for the better part of 2 hours. We have reserved an hour in total for your questions and answers. It's important that you're able to ask your questions of us. We'll feed them through the chat, and we'll respond to them accordingly. We ask that, in particular students who are on, that you use it appropriately and responsibly. We want to ensure that the content of the exchange that takes place there is befitting of a university event. And so we know some of you missing each other, see a friend from high school online and so on and so forth and so on, and you engage in other conversations. But we want to ensure that the conversations within that space are in keeping with this event, and that we keep it appropriate and responsible. Just want to remind us as well that we'll be focusing on academic matters. We'll be giving you some COVID-19 updates. We will be focusing also on some financial matters and other matters of interest in relation to admissions and so on. So we ask that you stay with us. Importantly, you'll be able to access this orientation exercise on our YouTube page or channel hereafter. So it will be saved and uploaded and be present for persons who may have missed this particular sitting. So we continue our presentation by hearing from the clinical director, Dr. Tina Hilton-Kong, who will be sharing with us some updates in relation to COVID-19. Over to you, Dr. Hilton-Kong.
Thank you. Are you hearing me okay? Thank you. And I would like to just extend a welcome on behalf of the University Health Center staff here at Mona and at Western Campus, Jamaica campus. All right. So I'll just be sharing briefly some global and local updates on COVID-19, and then what we call the Control-Alt-Delete COVID-19 sort of campaign that we have here at UWI. I'll review a bit about it. So I'm not sure if you can see this, but what you see is blue. It's a blue world, and the darker the shade of blue, the more cases in that region. So, US, for example, US, Europe, and Brazil has some high cases, over 5 million cases in total. Jamaica would be like one of the second to last blue, because we have about over 50,000 cases. So just in this, you also see that daily, just under half a million cases per day of COVID are diagnosed. Over just 192 million worldwide to date have been, well, to date meaning yesterday, and over just about nearly 4 million deaths. For Jamaica, we have, and actually when I was preparing my slide, these are the figures for July 22, they have gone up. So we now have 156 cases as of Saturday. We have a total of 51,984 cases as of Saturday, and unfortunately the deaths went up by 8 cases, so 1,176 deaths. I didn't get the updated vaccine dose, but as of Saturday, we had over 300,000 doses of vaccine. Remember, each person would need 2 doses of the AstraZeneca, so it's only about 5.1% of our population vaccinated. Prof. Boxhill alluded to classes starting face-to-face in the US. They have something like about a 56% coverage of their vaccination. So we are way behind with that. So let's see what is called this Control-Alt-Delete, here at UWI. And so I thought about it and I say, okay, let's control. What can we do about COVID-19? We can control it by preventing the COVID-19 infection. And I know you've heard it on the news, you've seen it in your papers, you have it on WhatsApp, you get messages. Here at campus, we get it a lot. And so sometimes we can get immune to the messages. But I just urge you to remember, those are the things that wash hands, sanitize, wear your mask, and wear them properly, and take care of them properly. All of those are very important. Stay 2 meters or 6 feet apart. and, you know, well-ventilated rooms, and if you try to avoid crowds, even though it's summer and lots of holiday and activities going on. And I want you to, parents and guardians, to think about this too, because yes, your children or adults and wards may be at home doing online classes, but just to remember to help them to remember to do these things, and you set that example as well, so that wherever they are, they may be gathering as students, a group, to do the lessons online, so just to remember to keep these things in vogue. And it's that other side that talks about the distance. So it's also about the distance, but how long you're there exposed. And so sometimes you can't avoid the crowd, but you try to make sure have on your mask and not stay too, if it's indoors, not stay too long in that session. And of course, you want to know your risk. So if you have certain comorbidities, say you have asthma, diabetes, then you know you have to be extra careful as to your exposure. I wanted to add about nutrition, because yes, when you go on campus or when you're even at home studying, we may not be paying attention to that. So parents, I want you to remember that. And it's very important to have a balanced meal. It helps with your immune system. It also helps with repairing. If you do get sick, it helps with recovery. So I'm not really going to go through those, but you can look at them in your own time. This is probably what Sunday dinner would look like, but just remember the proportions too, that we want more of the vegetables. That's the one that helps in the immune system. And yes, we want the peas and so on, but we don't want too much of the starches and meat. And don't forget, hydrate with this summer sun that we're having and beyond. And sometimes in front of the computer and so on, doing their lessons, they forget about the hydration. So encourage them. Hydration without the sugar. They're sweet enough. The next one is the alt. How do we alter this COVID infection? So what do you do? If you happen to be exposed or you think you have been exposed, what do you do? Again, that's the Ministry of Health poster. What do? You know what to do. You stay at home, contact your doctor, call them, or in this case, we'd encourage the students to call the University Health Center, and a doctor or the nurse there would speak with them. We want you to stay in a quarantine or isolation if that is the order, and to just follow what is ordered. It may be that you have to get a test, and that's the only time that you get to come out, and also you will be monitoring for any severe symptoms or shortness of breath. Then you don't wait and watch and see, you head to the hospital. If you have been diagnosed, your test is positive and you have been diagnosed, so you're in isolation and you should be at home in that, or if they happen to be on the dorm, then they're going to be in their room. In a separate room, you try to have some ventilation and try to do the frequent washing of hands, sanitizing, and so on. Delete. So how do we reduce the COVID-19 pandemic? If we reduce the number of infections, then we can curb the number of circulating strains of COVID-19. And I know you're hearing a lot about the Delta virus. Yes, it's here. Not here, sorry. Oops, that might be prophecy for sure, though. But it's not here proven yet in Jamaica, but it's of the new cases in the US, 83% of the new cases are Delta. So as the Minister of Health said, it's only a matter of time. But we want to, if you have less infections, you're going to have less mutations and less strains around. So you want to curb, and when you have less cases, you're going to have less hospital admissions. We kind of saw what happened earlier in the year, March, where it was not a pretty picture, everybody flooding the hospital. So we want to avoid that. As they say, flatten the curve. So if we could get 7 out of every 10 persons fully vaccinated, get their 2 doses, then we could curb the number of infections. And significantly, even if the person vaccinated got the infection, they would be significantly less severe, and so that would be a less burden on the hospitals. So what about the vaccines? So, just to say that the vaccines, they are, it's a scientific world is working on them. It's not just one, it's many, and we have 21 approved vaccines. Earlier this year when I made this presentation, this has gone up by 7. In April it was 14. The AstraZeneca vaccine is what we have here in Jamaica so far, And it is what you call a non-replicating viral vector. So basically, that little picture there up there on the corner there, that's the virus. It uses the genetic materials, this sort of, all of it, just a piece of it, the significant aspect of the genetic material. It puts it into a virus, which causes a common cold, adenovirus. But they have treated that virus, that particular virus cannot replicate when it's inserted in our bodies. So the genetic material within that adenovirus then opens up into our cell, and that particular material, it tells our cells start to fight, form antibodies, and other cell, the whole immune system tries to recognize it to kill if it sees that same genetic material coming in again. So it's building the immune system to look out for coronavirus. Recent studies showed that it's a 75% efficacy against the alpha strain, which was the original, one of the earlier strains, and 67% against the delta variant. So with the 2 doses, of course, it's much less when you only have 1 dose. So it's significant. It works significantly even for the delta variant. This vaccine that we've had, it has been approved in about 119 countries. So, of course, vaccines have side effects. I know, I felt it. It made you have a little soreness on the area. You felt groggy. You had that fatigue. Boy, I said to myself, if this is what COVID makes me feel like, I don't want it. And so it took about a 3-day for me to actually, get back to my normal self. But it was worth it. Serious side effects are possible in a few persons. As with any drug, you have side effects. Some people may be allergic. There were a few reports of some blood clots, not in Jamaica as far as I know, but the World Health Organization have declared that it's safe, and they're constantly reviewing the data to make if there need any further updates. So it's worth it. All vaccines are 100% effective in preventing the severe form of COVID-19. So even if you got the vaccine and you happen to get exposed to a strain that it no longer covers for, it is almost certain that you will not get the severe form of COVID-19. So that's good news. When should you take it? As soon as you get it offered. As Prof. Boxill said, we are waiting to know when we can have further vaccinations to protect our staff and students here so that we can someday go back to face-to-face or have more face-to-face sessions. For AstraZeneca vaccine, the doses are usually 8 to 12 weeks apart, and so that's needed so that you can have fuller immunity. And this immunity lasts for months, who knows, maybe for years, but we have to, await the further studies. This COVID vaccine, like the others, is a game changer if more people could take it and would take it. It's actually the delete part. So basically back to the usual what we know, and it works. We just have to not get wary doing it. Wear a mask properly, sanitize your hands, have physical distancing, not socially. You want to still keep in touch socially, but physically distant. You want to avoid touching your eyes, nose, mouth, and so on. And the mask, we have to be careful that we are not, contaminating our fingers and so on when we take off our mask and so on. Avoid the crowds as much as possible. Close contact in closed spaces. If you have to be in a room, not so sure about that AC, you have on your mask, but whenever you get a chance, you get out into some fresh air or open the windows. Practice proper respiratory etiquette. So, in fact, I say, if you have to sneeze, why not sneeze in your mask? Just change it after. Because otherwise, in a tissue, throw that away, wash your hands. Clean and disinfect frequently touched surfaces, especially like your glasses and your phones. But you don't really have to do that, washing of vegetables and all of that. They have shown that that's not really how it's spread. So, as we say, COVID still a keep, And just because if you are vaccinated, it doesn't mean that you can say, "Whoa, everything Chris." You still need to wear your mask, and so that you are preventing any spread of the vaccine, of the infection. So one of the UWI rights is Control, Alt, Delete as it relates to COVID-19. So join us as we Control, Alt, Delete COVID-19. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Tina. And certainly, ladies and gentlemen, you may have questions. Just keep them going in the chat at the appropriate time. We'll be entertaining your questions as we seek to better equip you to be important partners in this process. We continue to refer to courageously cultivating community. And certainly, we want to engage our students in understanding a little bit about the physical space, even though they may be accessing classes remotely. And throughout the course of the year, we'll be providing opportunities for students to come to the campus, to get a tour of the campus, to meet officials, so forth and so on. And certainly, as we seek to do that, that is something that we'll be doing safely. That is something that we'll be encouraging our students to participate in, but to do so safely. So we invite you to continue to watch the space as we provide you with accurate and up-to-date information in that regard. But we want for your students to transition well to the university. And this afternoon, we have with us a consultant psychiatrist with the University Health Center, Dr. Nemiche Richards, who will be sharing with us some valuable information under the theme, Easing the Transition. So I ask of you your undivided attention as we now hear from Dr. Richards.
Thank you very much, Jason. It's certainly a pleasure to be with all of you this afternoon, and especially with our parents. I am Nemiche Richards, affectionately called Dr. Nemi, and I come bringing greetings from the University Health Center's Psychiatric and Counseling Service here at Mona, and as well as at the Western Jamaica campus. I am a mental health advocate and coach, and in my capacity as a psychiatrist, I, along with the team of counselors at the health center, are here to help in the growth and development of the minds and hearts of your students, your loved ones. We also deal with staff as well as the dependents of staff. Now, as we know, we're here to look at easing the transition, right? U is fresh start, and as Jason said, courageously cultivating community as family, all right? And in easing the transition, we know that this transition into university does come with a lot of tension, a lot of stress. In addition to the excitement, we know that there's been a lot that you've all been dealing with. And so we're just going to talk a little bit about that. How can we ease this transition? How can we ease the tension? How can we just take it a little slow? I want to first start by welcoming you, our parents, of the next great UWI Pelicans of this Caribbean, of this global space, of this UWI. Our parents of the visionaries of today and the leaders of tomorrow. I want to also congratulate you as parents on your leadership and your vision through waves of uncertainty and strain, particularly after a year plus like this one. The pelican that you see as represented by our coat of arms at UWI is a symbol of piety, of respect and regard for something greater than ourselves. It's a symbol of Caribbean unity and community, of leadership and triumph, soaring through scholarship, way above adversity. And that's what we're here to do. And that's what your students will be doing when they enter this space, the University of the West Indies. Coming into university comes with a lot of adjustment, a lot of shifting, exercising quite a bit of flexibility, amidst some level of frustration, uncertainty, and insecurity about the present times and the future. But you made it, and here we are. So the road ahead will be more of the same. Another journey, but the hands on the wheel will be different. The person steering will no longer be you. You'll be in the front passenger seat, where your support and guidance is crucial to getting your student, your loved one, to the finish line. Success is a must. Finishing is a must. And this is what we help our students to do right here at the Counseling and Psychiatric Service. It was Jane D. Hull, an American politician and educator, iconic educator of blessed memory, who said that at the end of the day, the most overwhelming key to a child's success is the positive involvement of you, the parents. And let me hasten to say, the positive involvement of any carer, the village, a teacher perhaps, a loved one, a good neighbor or politician, an aunt, an uncle, any parental or other support figure. It is the overwhelming involvement positively in their lives that gets them through to success. Your loved one's entry to UWI is tribute and testimony to your triumph amidst adversity, to blessings upon top of blessings. Here is where hard work meets vision, faith, and leadership, and looks hope straight in the eyes and dash out upon adversity and uncertainty. For many of you, this is a first on so many levels. For others, it's another journey through UWI, any other college entry. But whatever the history, this is a real success story. It is a very big deal, and it required a whole lot. Next slide. So resilience is what got us here. Resilience is what has taken us through the pandemic. And resilience is what will take us through the next few years at university. But resilience requires relationships, as indicated by the Center of the Developing Child at Harvard University. The pandemic has reminded us to trust and believe and rally around those we hold dear. It has reminded us about the value of community, the value of cultivating community courageously, the value of helping each other. The pandemic has reminded us of slowing down, taking pause, of exercising caution, of safeguarding our health, of being flexible. And it has shown us how capable we are at adapting and as well as at problem solving, how well we are and how capable we are at changing, at adjusting, at figuring out a novel, new, different way of coping. Next slide. The pandemic has also helped us to know when we're not coping, to know when we're not well, and to do more to ensure we get well, and stay healthy and safe. Next slide. So the University Health Service, in addition to providing public health, nursing capacity, family doctors, dental services, and pharmacy services, our services are here to strengthen and support your efforts, big or small, right or not so right, good and not so good. We're all ready to assist when ill health, be it mental or physical, gets in the way of their academic progress. And our services include 5 counseling psychologists as well as me. And we're dealing with approximately 30,000 students and at least 1,500 staff. And what we strive to do, as seen in the slide above, is to deal with behavioral assessment, diagnosis and treatment, emergency mental health support, and 24-hour helpline mental health support. We do referrals to the University Hospital if mental health support is needed there in terms of any admission to hospital or other emergencies. We do many follow-up appointments. We do group counseling, including poetry therapy. We also offer academic or sick leave when that is needed, and we do referrals on and outside campus. We offer outreach, advocacy, as well as research. This is how you can reach us. Through the main health center numbers, as seen in the slide up there, as well as contacting us via phone or email, as well as our 24-hour helpline, as seen there, and the number is 294-0042. So this is us. To the left, we have Ms. Tamaya Wilson, who is at the Health Center at Mona campus. We also have Dr. Jennifer Stewart-Dixon at the Western Jamaica campus. In the middle, you will see Dr. Debbie Ann Chambers, Head of Counseling, as well as Mrs. Sharon Williams-Brown, our Senior Counselor, as well as another Senior Counselor, Dr. Lester Orville Shields, and myself. We are here to assist you, whether you're at the Western campus or the Mona campus, and even those at the Open campus. Thank you very much for your time and attention. Salutations.
Thank you so kindly, Dr. Richards. As we talk about courageously cultivating community, it is very clear in my mind that there is relevance to the saying, it takes a village to rear a child. And we have seen for ourselves the many and varied services offered by the University Health Center. And all of this is geared to the success of your child or your ward. We want to continue with sharing with you by helping you to understand or to better understand how things function in the academy. I think that if you are to be empowered parents or family members, having some understanding of our faculties and how they function and what our expectations are of you and of your child, then we are here to be able to help you with that process. And sharing with us this morning is the Dean of the Faculty of Medical Sciences. And though he represents that faculty, he'll be sharing broadly with us on academic matters here at the university. So help me make welcome Dr. Tomlin Paul, Dean of the Faculty of Medical Sciences.
Thanks very much, Mr. Mackenzie, and good morning to all members who are attending, morning to colleagues here, but especially a very good afternoon, actually. Good afternoon to parents and families and students who are attending this orientation session. I can recall when I came to the Mona campus not too long ago, it was back in actually 1979, that my mother, in my suitcase, she packed a pot, one of those Dutch pots, frying pan, an electric iron, tins of bully beef, sardine, mackerel, pajamas, and some other things. And it very much symbolized, I always remember that, because my suitcase was heavy, very heavy, and I landed on Irving Hall, and at that time, the best hall, of course, yes, the greatest hall. Yeah? And at that time, they put you through a little bit of something called customs. So they actually checked my suitcase and revealed all of these wonderful things that my mother had packed. But the memory of that is very positive because it symbolized my mother's love and care for me coming to university as a young man. And the love and care of parents, I know, has not changed after the few decades that I've been at UWI and working at UWI. And today I'm happy to hear and see so many of you out there coming to this orientation. Parents and families are still packing bags, maybe differently, somewhat virtually in a way, I don't know about virtual bully beef, but still the support and love is there. So I'm really happy to welcome everyone on this occasion. And I welcome you on behalf of all of my colleague deans and the directors, program directors at the Mona campus. If you're here today, you are in one of the faculties or one of the programs at the university. And as you know, we have a wide range of programs at UWI, from the social sciences to the medical sciences. Even if you're sport inclined and you're interested, you can get sport. If you're interested in gender studies, it's there. So really, it's a happy occasion to have the diversity of all who are joining us this morning. Today, I want to share a little bit on the academic matters, and really there's so much to learn, there's so much to know, that in the short time I really will touch some of the highlights with you this afternoon. So I want to give an insight into program structure, delivery, a little bit on assessment, and talk about the role of the family and parents in all of this. So you've been accepted into a program at Mona, and you'll be studying for a degree or diploma. In the old days, they used to say you read for your degree. And I like that reference because it means that you've got to do some work, right? So parents, your child or the person you're looking after, recognize that the degree, we don't give away the degree. You've got to work for it, and you've got to study and earn it. Now, all programs that you have registered for and that you're entering have some structure and have requirements, and it really is, this probably is similar, already knowledgeable to you. That program structure involves a batch of courses. So there's a number of courses that are coming together, and these courses, they have different names, they have what we call credit values, and the credit values depends on the length of the course and the depth of the course, what you're doing in there. But you may have like a 3-credit course, you'll hear, or a 5-credit course, 4-credit course, or a 2-credit course. And those courses come together to make up your program. These courses are delivered over semesters within the university. We have 2 semesters. Semester 1 starts at the end of August this year, goes on to December, close to Christmas, and then semester 2 around mid-January next year and goes into May. So you may also do some summer courses in between. Some of you in your programs may even have something we call a summer semester in some programs, but you certainly may have the option to do some summer courses. And the bottom line is that these courses they're the packets of teaching and learning that you'll need to make your program, to complete your program. And the courses come with work, again, coursework, lectures to attend, and we talk a little bit about that, and at the end, examinations and assessment. Some courses may be assessed mainly by coursework, it depends. So there's a lot of variation, but the essence of it is that you have entered to complete your degree. The degree, this program that you have entered is designed around a series of courses delivered over semesters, and you're going to do some work, get assessed, and earn the credits for the course. So assessment is very much there. You can't get away from that. We had it from GSAT days, and right up high school and so on. So there is assessment continuing within the university. Your performance is graded, and you have in-course, midterms, ongoing, and final assessments, and you get a grade at the end of the day. So that grade goes in your transcript. But it contributes to something called the GPA, your GPA. The GPA is called the grade point average, and it gives us a measure. It's really a cumulative or combined measure of your performance in the courses. It allows us to track, and you to track, how well you're doing overall over time, so you can monitor your GPA. Sometimes, if you get a scholarship, your scholarship person giving you the scholarship may say, well, we will use your GPA to determine if you give you the scholarship next year. So we have that measure of performance. That's really what the GPA is essentially. It enables your faculty to look at your needs, your academic needs, because again, in the whole structure of designing this program, we look at what your needs are. The university is very oriented to really responding to you as the client, as a customer coming in and responding to your needs. So the GPA helps us to do that. And it also allows for rewards when you maintain a high GPA. So all faculties have some student awards or student reward system. It may be a dean's list, it may be a special ceremony during the year where students who are performing at a certain level, both academic and co-curricular and all of this, again, the universities around the place will be eligible for these awards. So keep an eye on your GPA. it also, at the end of the day, when you graduate, will determine what kind of degree you get. First class, upper class, lower second class honors, or past degree. So it's a measure of the quality of the degree at the end. So from day one, your input, your performance in the courses will contribute to the quality of the degree at the end. There's academic advising in all programs. All faculties have a program where, as students, you have an advisor and you sit and talk with the advisor, or you would use email access to communicate on your program. From day one, I want to encourage parents to ensure that the students coming in are sure about what they're choosing and their options. You're coming in new, so you might be questioning, what course should I really do for this? Which program is this? What is my major? How does this work out? Well, we have academic advising, we have your handouts, the books. There's a lot of material there that's available. This transition phase is important where you take advantage of that. So make sure you obtain accurate and detailed information before you get into semester 2 or year 2, and then realize, oh my God, that's not what I should have done for this program. But so any doubt, you seek it out, and we will have orientation sessions where you will get that knowledge and that clarity on the program that you're doing. So you have a choice of courses. In some programs, you have more choice than others. For instance, in medical sciences, in some of the programs, the courses are prescribed largely. In other programs, you have a choice, and you can choose this or that course depending on what you're majoring in coming down. But we have something called foundation courses that all of our students attending the campus will have to do. And those foundation courses, I'll give you the mix there. You have English for academic purposes, the sciences, medicine, and technology and society, law, governance, economy and society, and Caribbean civilization. And those courses are meant to give you a grounding of our Caribbean culture, our society, what's operating, so that whether you're doing a bachelor's in physics, bachelor's in chemistry, or humanities education program, you get a sense of and context of our Caribbean region and some of the issues that we're facing. But I put in a little plug here and call it an ad. For having said all of that, and we talk about GPA and getting grades and studying, all of that is important. But I want parents, I want you to work with your child, with those you're looking after, to promote a growth mindset. We get very hooked up. We have a culture, we come in where we talk about how many ones did you get? You know, we're coming from high school and say, well, oh my God, you got 10 ones, I got 11 ones, I got 6 ones, etc. And sometimes we get so competitive that we compete ourselves into a world of stress and anxiety. What's important is that you have a growth mindset. If you slip, what you do? Get up, brush off, and say, I can do this again. It's a learning experience. What did I learn from that slipping? But I want to be the best I can in my own setting. I want to improve myself continuously. So encourage you to be always looking at success is coming. Success is there, and you can achieve. And that positive growth mindset is very important. Parents, guardians, you have a part to play to help nurture your child as they come into this, to the campus. So the courses are delivered in a number of ways. Our course delivery system, in a traditional university setting, when I was in university again not too long ago, we had lectures, tutorials. I went to the lecture room, right? The lecturer stands up. We had some excellent lecturers who were inspiring, and we still have, university has continued to recruit and retain excellent lecturers who can inspire our students. We have lab practical sessions. The labs are there. The campus is full of lab space and technical chemistry labs and all of that. Language labs. So we have a lot of practical things related to how you learn and how you get exposed. We have field work. Take you out the country sometimes. If you're doing geography, you're going to go up in the hills of Portland and look at the mangroves and all kinds of things like that. And we have clinical experiences if you're doing some of the medical sciences where you see patients and you practice in hospitals and so. What a diverse range of teaching exposures we have. Addition to that, we have our virtual learning system. And this has become more important during the COVID pandemic, you'd understand, for obvious reasons, where we retain that background of lectures, tutorials, labs, clinical experiences, fieldwork, but we have to supplement it even more aggressively with a virtual learning operation system. And our university has always invested in this. What we have done in the past year and a half is to really grow this out in a deeper way, so that right now, as you come into this campus next week, in the coming weeks, every single course that you're going to be exposed to is on the virtual learning platform, on our Moodle platform. We call it OURVLE, our virtual learning environment. It's ours, it's yours too, because as you jump in and you register, you can jump in and you can get a range of things on this platform. It allows you to, the courses are linked with the web. We deliver teaching and learning through that. We have added Blackboard, Collaborate. We do sometimes a Zoom link. So we have expanded the technology, and it's a common learning space for your students, for everyone. So that's a classroom, essentially, a virtual classroom, but very dynamic. Lots of things you can do there. News items can be posted, course assignments. You can get your tests done. Your assessments can be done using the Moodle platform now. And you can learn in real time, or if you miss a class, perhaps, if you couldn't make it, you can go back and learn again. So we talk about synchronous and asynchronous learning, and you can learn again and again and again. So we have, as I said, the range of exposures, and some of the things I talk about, like labs and practicals, and so we are integrating our virtual environment to deliver some of these during COVID. But as you come in, we would have a mix, and each program will tell you how they will be delivering their courses at the start of the year. Our campus principal is very aggressive in supporting the teaching learning environment during COVID. We have, in fact, our library service. Our library can loan IT support. But I remember again when I came in with that big suitcase full of bully beef and the Dutch pot, that I had there too. In that suitcase, I had 3 big ring binders. You guys know the ring binders? I don't know if parents know that these days, but they're big, thick, different colors. I think a black and a green and a red. And when you open the ring binder, it clicked. If you hit your finger, it can hurt your finger. It's so powerful. But that was my learning support medium at that time. 3 of these ring binders, whole heap of foolscap paper in there, and so on. Coming in 2021, what I want to encourage parents to invest in, ring binders are still useful if you might want to write, but invest in some IT technology to support your teaching and learning. A laptop, phones, people use phones, it depends. You've got to talk it through with your child and see what is the best medium, but at least a laptop that can access the learning environment and allows for that flexibility in teaching and learning. So at the end of the day, as you engage in the courses and you come to the campus and you work with us, we make the point again. I heard Dr. Nemi talks about it takes a village, and Mr. Mackenzie. And indeed, we have a village set up here for you. Our campus is loaded with support for the academic life that you will encounter. The office of the principal, the office of the deputy principal. Deputy principal's office is very active with student support. The campus registrant team, the office of student services and development. And I can go on and on and on. I didn't list all of the village members here because the village big. Big for so, big village. And I'm serious. You can have any challenges you have. There's a point of call on the campus where you can get help and support, and the challenge can be resolved as you go through your academic life. We have student financing in there, and so on. And as I close, we talk about the virtual learning environment, but really you're here today as parents and family, and I want us to coin and work together the family learning environment. So we talk about OURVLE. You guys are here today representing YOURFLE, your FLE. This is the family learning environment is critical to support everything I said before, all these labs, virtual space, credits, GPA tracking, and so on, which is the academic structure of our programs. It's not going to happen as well without the support of the family. So I see the role of the family, and this is maybe a synopsis of it. As your child enters the Mona campus, the family has a role, helping with priority setting and focus. And all kind of questions come under that. One of the questions that, again, I go back in my time, why am I at university? What is this about? Why did I really choose this? Do I want to be here? Some students are asking themselves that still. Sometimes after a year, they're still asking, I'm not sure I really want to do this. And parents, I want you to stay close guardians to your child and ensure that they have that thinking through as they transition, as they journey. There's nothing wrong with after some thought that he says, well, I'm not sure I really want to do this, mommy. And you should be available to have that discussion and that discourse. As I said, our campus is full of programs. If you don't feel happy with X, Y might be there. And academic advising, parental support and advising is there for you. Help with balancing and timing. There's just so much to do. You start in August, but guess what? You see that December 22nd end of semester? It comes quick. Midterms, by the time the pre-trees are blooming, pre-tree on the campus is a sign that exams are coming. The exams are there. So timing, planning, balancing, yes, you want to have fun, you want a rounded experience. There's a wonderful first-year experience for students. OSSD has a lot of things to do, and I encourage you to help your child balance their life during the time on the campus. Be available, show interest and support, because that is the nature of family life. Be there for your child. We want you to be a part of the program with us as your child and as your ward passes through. So this is just a snippet, just an insight. I trust that you feel excited today about your child coming in. There's much more nuts and bolts of academic programming that each faculty will give you, each program director will give you. You'll meet the lecturers and you'll get more detail. But in essence, this is what you have signed up for. Not formidable, challenging, but not something that it's achievable and doable. And I think with family support, you will do well. The family will do well. When I have my dean's list and I congratulate the students who are performing well, I always congratulate the family. So you are here, you have signed up you have technically signed up for the degree with your child, in a way, in terms of support. I wish you all success as you journey into the UWI Mona for 2021. Thank you very much for your listening.
Thank you so very much, Dean Paul. This is such a dynamic community. A lot of parents still refer to the University of the West Indies as UC, and we are known for academic excellence. But parents, guardians, spouses, you have heard that we work together in a coordinated and comprehensive, integrated even way to ensure that your child has a successful sojourn here at the Academy. Thank you so very much, Dean Paul. We're going to enter into another segment of our program as we pay some attention on the financial the requirements of finances to navigate this space, to help our parents and guardians become aware of the support structures and systems and accommodations that are available to you as well. Because certainly to deliver on the high quality of education that your child will get, it will and does require some resources. We want to help you better understand that process and to help you better understand what's available to you as well in terms of support here on the campus. So at this time, I invite to share with us Customer Service Officer from the Student Administrative Section, Ms. Candice Graham, who will talk to us a little bit about financing expectations. Over to you, Ms. Graham.
Thank you so much, Mr. McKenzie. Afternoon to everybody here, and a very good afternoon to the parents. I'm happy to be here to present to you today. Candice Graham, as you said, from SAS. This is my colleague, Ms. Leandra Robinson. She's also from SAS Billing Section. All right, so we are going to talk about our finances and what you need to know as regards the money that we need for the tuition for this academic year. All right, so what is SAS? We are the Student Administrative Services section of the bursary. We are a part of the billings and collections. So it's billings and receivables, SAS. I am a customer service officer. We have billings officers and customer service officers within our sections. What we do, we ensure that all the billings for your tuition or residencies are done correctly. And we ensure that once you make a payment towards your tuition or residence, it is reflecting on your statements of account. We also ensure that the billings and collections for the external stakeholders are also done correctly. External stakeholders would be Juicy Beef, example, Juicy Beef, KFC, and all the stalls that are around the campus areas. So we ensure that all the billings and the collections and the finances that coming into the university for the students are done correctly. Okay, so once you register as a student, or once you intend to come to the campus as a student, we expect you to register. When you are registered, as Dr. Paul has stated, you select your courses and you go on the platform, select your courses. We bill you as a tuition billing. This billing is done per registration. So depending on the faculty that you're in and the course that you're doing, we bill you based on that. We also have a billing called the miscellaneous fees billing. As you can see, it has certain things involved in it, made up of the health, dental, guild, attachment, and sports and copy license. Miscellaneous fees are mandatory. They are paid once per year, and they must be paid, and they are non-refundable. Another billing that we have is the residential billing. That's for students who are residing on hall, excluding 138 student living hall. So once you are on, for example, Marlin Hamilton, right? Mary C. Cole, Rex Netterford, we bill you as a residential billing. As new students, you are asked to pay a commitment fee of $20,000. This is prerequisite for registration and is also non-refundable. A key thing to note, though, with the commitment fee is once you are not residing on hall and you pay the fee, it goes towards your miscellaneous fee. If you are residing on hall, then you have to pay the additional fees for the residential miscellaneous fees, which we'll speak about later. Okay, so how do you know what your tuition fee is? You can always go on Google, go online, type in check fees UWI Mona, and the first link that comes up, it looks something like this that you're seeing on the platform. So this is the first link that comes up. You click on it, and you're able to view your tuition fees. You can click for undergraduate students, undergraduate programs, the fees are there. For the postgraduate, that's your master's, you can click graduates, the fees are there. We have the hall fees, the miscellaneous fees there also. The three additional tabs that you're seeing are for one, online tuition payments. So if you intend to pay with your Visa credit card or your MasterCard, you can go online tuition payment, you can make the payment. There's another link to apply to the university, but you would have already applied being that you're coming in. And there's another link that you can go for registration. So we just use those as additional services to link the platforms. Okay, so I am going to give a rundown basically of what the tuition fees are like. The figures that you're seeing are for general programs. UGC programs, those are ones that are financing by the government, a proportion by the government. You have self-financing programs, those are different. You can also get those fees online with the check fees platform. All right, so for general programs, which are UGC programs, once you're a full-time student, so you have two statuses, you have full-time and part-time. If you're a full-time student, we're going to bill you $292, $348 for that program for the entire academic year. We split that in two, and we bill you per semester. If you are a part-time student, we bill you per credit based on the amount of credits that you do. As Dr. Tomlin did mention, you could have a 2-credit or a 3-credit course or a 5-credit course or a 6-credit course. If you are part-time, we bill you per credit for those courses. Whether you are a full-time or a part-time student, you are expected again to pay the miscellaneous fees. As a commuting student, it's $16,067 for this academic year. If you are residing on hall, it's $24,367 for this year, plus the ID charge of $650. that you'd have to pay. For the SAS section, we use a platform called the Bursary Online Student System, shortened from, we call it BUS. So we ask if you know the BUS system or if you're familiar with the BUS system. You can again type in UWI BUS and you will bring you straight to the platform. You're going to log in with your ID number and your password. Now, if you are a new student, it's in the format of the year, month, date as you're seeing. However, if you're not able to get through, you might have to contact the MITS, which is the Information Technology Services of the UWI Mona, for them to reset your password and give you access to your system. This same password is used to access ORVLE and to register for your courses. Point of reference. So on the BUS system, we have a few services that we offer. The key thing to know that most of the services offered by SAS are online. So we use this BUS system to provide our online services. So the first thing on this tab is the statements of account. Because you are pursuing and we want you to have the information that we have, we give you a chance to know what your account looks like. So you view statements of account to see the summary of your account. You will see your tuition charge, you see your miscellaneous charge. If you're on hall, you will see the hall charge. So what we do for the students is that currently we have a split account. You are able to see your tuition on one side. At the top of the screen, there's a tab saying View Housing Transactions. You can click that tab, and you can see the resident side of your account. So you're able to see the summary of what your charges and your payments are for the academic year. Apart from the statements of account, we have another tab called Forms. When you go on the forms, you will see these forms that are listed on the screen. So we have the tuition and residence installments, which I'll explain later. We have housing allocations and tuition allocations. We have tuition letter forms. We have refund forms. We have statements request forms, and we have proxy authorization. Just a brief explanation on these. For housing and tuition allocation, what we use them to do is, if you have some funds on the housing side of the account that you want to send to the tuition because you have paid to the housing and there's a balance of the tuition that you want to cover, you can always apply for the allocation form, and you can send the funds over to the tuition side of the account, and vice versa. For a tuition letter, because we know that you will be applying for scholarships and you will need to know what your tuition charge is for the academic year, we provide a letter called a tuition letter. When you apply for it, we have some processes. You will see the instructions online. What we do, we prepare the letter. It tells you what your tuition is, the faculty that you're in, and basically your name, tuition, the faculty that you're in for the academic year. You can request it for residents if you are on hall. We do not provide a tuition letter for persons residing on 138 student living. For the statements of account, as I said before, when you view your statements of account, you will see a summary of what your account balances and charges are. But if you want a line-by-line item as to when you have made the payment, how much you have made, how did we put the things on your account, you can always request a statement. We'll give you a detailed format of your payments and charges on the account. For the refund is eligible to students who have a credit balance at the end of the academic year. That means you must be registered for the complete year. For semester 1 and 2, you must register for all your courses and make all your payments for the semester before you can request a refund. There are certain criteria to the refund that you are expected to go through. We have another form called the proxy authorization. Now, as this is our orientation for parents, this form is very important to us. While the student is at the university, we are going to treat them as the adults. So the account is theirs, they are in charge of their accounts. If they intend for you to conduct business on their behalf or to collect any documents, for instance, statements of account or tuition letter, the student has to give authorization for you to collect these documents on their behalf. So there's a form on the system. You go on the bus, you apply for the form. They will put you whether you need to collect documents or conduct business. Once they come into us, they provide us with their ID. We can verify that it's actually their name. We can give them the information. If this is not in the system, we will not divulge the financial information to the person who comes to us. So I am going to just emphasize that once you want your parents to conduct business on your behalf, please fill out this form and we will assist them with ease. Okay, so the deadline for payments. You can pay your tuition fee in full for the academic year, or you can pay in full per semester. And we have another option called the installment plan. Again, I will expound on that later. So you can either pay in full for the academic year, pay in full per semester. If you intend to do so, we have deadlines for those. For semester 1, the deadline is September 3rd. You must pay your fees in full by September 3rd if that's your intention. If it's for the semester, you must pay in full for the semester 1 by September 3rd. For semester 2, you must pay in full by January 17, 2022. Please note these deadlines, they are very important. As for the installment plans, if a student is not able to pay in full and have exhausted all other options, for example, scholarships and bursaries and grants, and are not able to pay in full, we have a plan called a tuition installment plan that we offer to the students. For this plan, you must be fully registered. What we mean by fully registered, if you're a full-time student in the Faculty of Social Sciences and you're doing 5 courses, please select all your 5 courses and ensure that the charges are on your account. When that's happened, that you can also pay, pay your miscellaneous fees. If you are residing on hall, it's the $24,000. If you are commuting, it's $16,000. Pay the miscellaneous fee. And you must pay 25% of the semester's tuition. So you register fully, pay your miscellaneous fees, pay 25% of the semester's tuition. Then you go on the bus system and apply for the plan. The plan will be open on August 5th, 2021, of course. If you have not met these requirements, the plan will not be open. So if you realize that the plan, you're not able to access the plan, and you have met the requirements, then you contact us and we'll have to see if we'll assist you otherwise. But once you meet these requirements, the plan will be open to you. The installment plan is calculated on the balance that is remaining. So while you must pay 25%, it's actually a minimum of 25%. So if you have paid more than 25%, whatever the remaining balance is, we'll do the plan for a 3-month period on the remaining balance. So you register, you pay the full, you register for the plan by August 5th. You'll have September, October, and November to complete the payment. All payments must be completed by November 30th for the installment plans. So once again, the plan is done per semester. Pay the fees in full. If you're not able to pay the fees in full, you apply for the plan. You must complete payments by November 30th. What are the payment locations? So to make payments on your tuition or residence fees or miscellaneous, you can make payments at the bursary cashier. You can make payments at any NCB location island-wide, any JN Bank location island-wide, any Western Union location island-wide. You can make payments at UWI Educom, at Paymaster, at Bill Express, or credit card online, as I've explained before. You can also make payment through wire transfer. Now, if you intend to do it through wire transfer, you'll have to contact us for the banking information. We send it to you and you use that to make the payment. Please note that all these locations have our account number. Do not give anybody any money to pay any tuition on your behalf unless you authorize that. These locations have our account number. If they don't have it, we will send you the information when you contact us. If payments are not made by the 3rd of September for semester 1 or by the 17th of January for semester 2, you are liable for certain penalties. These include late fines. 1% late fine will be added to your account on any outstanding balances at the end of each month. You will not be able to sit your final exams, or could be in mid-semester exams also. Those will be determined and will be instructed to you via email. You will not have access to your records. We have the right to send you to any collection agencies or credit bureau once these penalties are not met. So we're ending our presentation. You can always contact us for further information, because this is just basically a summary of what we do. If you want any other thing, if we need to go in depth in your account, you have to contact us. So we can contact us via WhatsApp at 280-8238, or you can call the university switchboard at 927-1660-9. They will transfer you to our section. You can also email us at customer.services@uwimona.edu.jm. Also, once you go on the bursary online student system, there is a link where you can click on that and open a chat with us during the hours of 8:30 to 4:30. Thank you.
Thank you so kindly. Ms. Graham, we will continue with our financial presentations, and we'll now hear about scholarships and bursaries. So we have from the Office of Student Financing, Mrs. Marsha Gay Lawrence, who will share with us at this point in time.
Good afternoon, parents. Is it on? Good afternoon, parents, guardians, family members, and students. My fellow colleagues, thank you for joining us today. My name is Marsha Lawrence, and I am here representing the Office of Student Financing, located right here at the UWI Mona campus. I like to call this part of the presentation, Show Me the Money. And I am feeling the pressure, especially after presenting, following the billings and receivables section. But I'm here to help you, because on a serious note, when parents or students come in, and we do see more parents than students, when they come in to see us at the Office of Student Financing, they're really hoping to find ways to finance their university education. And this is not limited to tuition, because persons do need assistance with books or stationery, meal, accommodation, miscellaneous fees, and so on. So the role of the Office of Student Financing, we provide financial assistance, of course. We also liaise with our donors. We liaise with our donors, both internal and external. We advise students of options based on their unique financial situation. And we also liaise with the Students' Loan Bureau and other external entities. And we refer students to the counseling unit at the health center, because as previously presented on, mental health is very important. The types of financial assistance that we offer: scholarships and bursaries, general financial assistance, the U.S. Department of Education, Federal Student Aid, Student Academic Enrichment Fund, and of course, financial guidance. How do you finance your UWI education? Now, as I said before, there are certain costs to consider, not limited to tuition. So persons need assistance with transportation, accommodation, meals, miscellaneous fees, books, and so on. So we get persons coming based on their unique financial situation. Our scholarships is a paper application located on our website. And once you download that application, it allows you to list up to 10 scholarships per application. And the bursary also falls under this paper application. The general financial assistance, it's an online application located on SAS, and that is specific to assistance, meals, books, non-tuition fees essentially. Our scholarship application period is April 1st to June 30th each year, and we have extended our deadlines to the 30th of July to accommodate more students. But if you have received late offers, you can still come in to us and we'll accommodate you. The UWI Mona bursaries are also available. The application period is June 1st to August 31st each year. This includes the UWI Mona Law bursary, engineering and preliminary engineering bursary, and the Faculty of Medical Sciences bursary. And these bursaries are for the full fee paying programs. The scholarships and bursaries available to incoming students. I won't list all of them. Well, I can't list all of them because we have so many, but you can go on our website, Office of Student Financing, and you'll see them. We have them listed under the faculties. Once you click on each, you'll see the criteria you can read through to see whether or not you are eligible to apply. and if you are, you place it on the application form. So I'll mention a few. We have the Ministry of Education scholarships, we have the Carrera scholarships, the Grace Kennedy scholarships, we have the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission, that's a very popular one, and we have a few new ones. Dr. Merrill Grant Scholarship for Medical Sciences students, the Mark and Kathleen Newman scholarships for Faculty of Science and Technology students, and we have also the Sagicor scholarship. So we have a lot of scholarships. For the Faculty of Medical Sciences, the FMS 50% bursary available to MBBS and DDS full fee paying students, the UWI Toronto Gala, the IGL Legacy Scholarship for nursing, and the IGL for medicine. For the Faculty of Law, we have Frankel Myers and the Don Cox Scholarship, and this listing is not exhausted. We have many more on the website. For the Faculty of Science and Technology, we have the NCB Software Engineering Program. That's a scholarship, rather. That's a very good one. We have the Samuel Edward Sticky Brooks Memorial Scholarship. And as you can see, we have a lot of new ones this upcoming academic year because persons are aware of the financial constraints, especially during this pandemic. And a lot of persons have come on board wanting to lend a hand. So we have a lot more new scholarships this year. For the Faculty of Sports, we have the Dr. Tulsi Dayal Singh Scholarship, Faculty of Social Sciences, the JMAB Bursary Scholarships, Dwayne Palmer, KPMG Scholarship in Accounting, the Kayla and Joseph Thakur Memorial Scholarship, that's a relatively new one. Faculty of Humanities and Education, Limners and Bards Bursary. We have the Library and Information Association of Jamaica, Audrey Roberts, Bridget Jones and William Mailer Bursary for French Studies. For the Faculty of Engineering, we have the H.J. Fenton Memorial Scholarship, Kevin Paul Akindele Wright Memorial Bursary, New Fortress Energy Scholarship. And we're listing them under the faculty because we want you to see that we do have a scholarship available for any faculty that you're in. You just need to apply. Students often complain that we don't have scholarships available for every faculty, but as you can see, awards applicable to any faculty, these are some of the awards that you can apply for. I have to make mention of the Principal Scholarship for Excellence, and the value of this award is tuition and miscellaneous expenses. The eligibility criteria includes students registered in the undergraduate degree program. If you're registered in any faculty, entering level 2 or 3 of your program, GPA of 3.3 or higher. Dr. Paul mentioned the GPA criteria before, and applying for scholarships outside of new first-time students, a lot of our scholarships have a GPA criteria. So applying for them, once you read through the criteria, make sure that you are within these criteria and apply before the deadlines. If you demonstrate leadership qualities and you're involved in co-curricular or community-related activities, parents, once your students are at the secondary level, please ensure or encourage them to go into social activities, co-curricular activities, because the donors are impressed when students show this kind of involvement in their communities and school and so on. How to apply? Visit the OSF website during the academic year for updates. You may apply now and not get through during the first semester, but as I said, more and more donors come on board right through the academic year. You never know. So keep going on the website, keep checking. We'll post it on our slide when you go on the website, and you'll see it pop up whether it's new, and you can apply. Download the application form, complete all applicable sections. Your application will not be processed if it's not done correctly. Print, sign, and complete the form and submit it within the deadline. What you're seeing is the road to scholarships, a map. And we've done this to show students the process when applying. So you have the application period open, scholarships are available, you apply. Once you apply, you can submit your application to the office. Then you, by the deadline, of course, we only contact the students who have been shortlisted. Of course, we'll contact you by email to say we've received your form. But once the scholarship period ends and we start to award we start to distribute the different awards, we'll contact the students who have been shortlisted for interviews. And once you have been contacted for interview, you'll be contacted again to know whether or not you were successful. And after that, we will let you know. I should say that when we contact the students, that the award goes directly to your student account. So no student will get the money directly. It always goes to your student account. This is just a snippet of our page 1. So it lists up to 10. I've highlighted the areas that we often have problems with every year. So make sure that at the bottom it's saying the correct academic year, because we do update the form each year. Make sure your name and your ID number is there, very critical. The budget form, you would have seen before the tuition for the upcoming year, the miscellaneous fees. You can put that there. Make sure that you're using Jamaican currency. Do not put an award on the form that you have not been awarded. Some students put the awards there as a projected source of income. Please do not put this on the form. So if you have not applied for SLB, do not put SLB on the form. You only put the awards that you've been awarded or have received acceptance for. And for the income part of it, it's very self-explanatory, but if you have issues, please call us. We'll help you fill out the form. The referee form is very important. At the bottom of the page, you'll see the persons who are eligible to give you these references. And the form must always be signed, and if it needs to be stamped, make sure the stamp is visible. The person giving you the reference must know you for at least 2 years. Quickly, want to mention a Journal of Financial Assistance. It opens September to November and January to April each year, so it opens and closes at the end and at the beginning and end of each semester. And we offer the assistance with meals, cash grants, book grants. The federal student aid is a direct unsubsidized loan given by the U.S. Department of Education. U.S. citizens and eligible non-citizens or green card holders are eligible to apply. Students registered in all the faculties with the exception of medical sciences. This is for mono-campus students only. And the program must be delivered face-to-face, not online. We understand that classes have moved online, where we have not yet received any further instructions as to how to deal with this part of it. But for now, it is for face-to-face students. The Student Academic Enrichment Fund, given to full-time final year students to enable them to attend or participate in conferences, academic exchanges, activities which could further enrich or enhance the quality of their training provided at UWI. The application for this type of assistance can be found on the website at www.mona.uwi.edu/OSF. We also provide financial assistance on funding options available for undergraduate study. So we'll refer students to the SLB. We also assist with SLB waiver, cancellation, or tuition adjustment requests. We also administer the PATH bursary, which is offered through the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. The JAMVAT is another option that you can go to, 30% of your tuition, not exceeding $350,000 per annum. And this is paid upon completion of 200 voluntary hours. The PATH bursary opens August. The deadline is September 30th, 100,000 offered to students who are beneficiaries of the PATH in high school. And we also refer students again to the Students Loan Bureau because, of course, the fees can become exhausted. So for some students, we will, based on your financial situation, we will refer you to the Students Loan Bureau. As you can see, one guarantor policy is now in effect, because that's a normal complaint of the students that they can't find guarantors. So one guarantor policy is now in effect. How can you reach us? You can visit the office, or you can call us at 876-441-4120 or 441-3584. You can also visit our website, www.mona.uwi.edu/OSF, or you can email us at stufinc@uwimona.edu.jm. I'll leave you with a quote: success is achieved and maintained by those who try and keep trying. So you may not get the scholarship for the first semester, you may not get it for the first academic year, but keep trying, keep applying. We're here to assist and help. Welcome to the University of the West Indies. We look forward to having you.
Thank you so kindly, Ms. Lawrence. Thanks to the team of persons who shared with us financial information. Parents, family members, we understand and know that this is a lot of information, but this is why you can access the YouTube page to replay what you have heard here. Importantly, I'm going to ask that our presenters share in the chat the information for the websites, like the Office of Student Financing, BOSS, and so on, the SLB contact even, as well, so that our parents can be made aware of the various avenues that they can access financing for their children. There are a number of other partners here on the campus. There's Edicom, that's a corporate credit union, and there's access to financing through that avenue and other avenues, other financial institutions within this space. And so there are multiple ways in which you can finance your child's higher education, and we want for you to be aware of same, and we want for them to be able to access that kind of support. We thank you for staying the course with us. We're going to be going into our question and answer segment at this point in time. In addition to the persons you have heard from and those introduced previously in the room, we have a dynamic team of members of the university community available to field your questions. So our campus registrar is with us, Dr. Donovan Stanbury. Our campus bursar is with us, Mrs. Catherine Park Thwaites. We have as well from the admission sections, Mrs. Donna Foster Lafayette. We have from the international office, Ms. Hermin Terrell. We have Dr. Patrick Pendergrass from our Mona Western Jamaica campus. He's the campus director there. We have our student services and development managers. We have the manager for our academic support unit. Just a team of dynamic persons who stand ready. Mrs. Jackie Scott Crossley as well is on board, just to be able to answer the questions that you have. So we'll be fielding your questions now, questions that you have placed in the chat, and the appropriate office of the university will seek to answer your question. Mrs. Robinson, question number 1.
Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon to our, Good afternoon to our Deputy Principal, Professor Ian Boxill, our Campus Registrar, Dr. Donovan Stanbury, our Director of the Office of Student Services and Development, Mr. Jason McKenzie, who is also our moderator this afternoon, to our campus officials joining us via Zoom, and our presenters, and to our 1,000 plus attendees joining us through our YouTube page. Good afternoon. We are moving into our question and answer section right now. We hope that we will be able to satisfactorily answer the questions that have been posed in the chat. I will say to our presenters that a number of the questions you would have answered already in your presentation. However, we ask that you just reiterate the responses for the benefit of our audience, so that they will be clear and feel as informed as possible as they prepare for August and September. All right, so we got a number of questions regarding COVID protocols in place for regional students who may be coming to the university. So what are the protocols in place for students from the region who will need to come into the university? I believe this is coming into our halls of residence to do face-to-face classes. I think I will ask our clinical director, Dr. Hilton Kong, to take that one.
Major Davis is also with us, so he may need to add to the discourse, broadly speaking, as to the campus protocols. Right. Dr. Tina.
Thank you, Mr. McKenzie.
Okay, thank you for that question. I'll try to answer it to best of my ability. As it relates to even leaving your country to come to Jamaica, then I believe it's very clear on the website. You can just go, Google Jamaica Travel Authorization. And there it comes up, it's clear instructions and so on, because you have to get like a password and stuff. So all of that is part of the visitjamaica.com, and it will be there as it relates to what is needed, your COVID test and so on. I saw there that if you're from certain countries, it will tell you which country right now you cannot. If you're coming from Trinidad, I saw that it won't give you a travel authorization until after August 10th. So that's the first step. As it relates to protocols for hall, I'm not very au fait as it relates to what is it that for on hall living, but I know that the COVID-19 safety protocols will be in place in terms of social distancing, having to wear masks, the sanitization stations, all of those things will be there, and that will be enforced throughout, not just hall, if any campus. Classes, any labs, anything like that.
Thank you, Dr. Hilton Kong. Director McKenzie, do you want to add to that as it relates to halls of residence?
Right, so I'll take Major Davis first, and then anything that is not covered there, then I'll do same.
Okay. Please go ahead, Major Davis.
Good afternoon, all. Thank you so very much. Dr. Hilton Kong was very clear with respect to...
You can unmute Major Davis and go ahead.
Pardon me, you're not hearing me? Did you say you were not hearing me?
So until we sort out the sound with Major Davis, just to be clear that there are campus protocols that have been established. They are on our website, and I'll ask that our students, parents, family members just access information there on our homepage of the website. There's COVID updates. There are COVID updates there. Specifically as relates to halls of residence, though, once you are required to be here, and this is for persons who are accessing programs that are being offered face-to-face, so it may be labs through the various faculties, or persons with a clinical component to their studies in the Faculty of Medical Sciences, then you will, through your having had your application to a hall of residence, you'll get a response from the Student Service and Development Manager, and in that response will also be clearly outlined the conditions for which you will be required to observe while living in a hall of residence. So there's a period of quarantine which is set by the country. So the government of the land has clearly outlined a period of quarantine, and so the students will be directed to a specific space where they can spend the period of quarantine, after which they will be integrated with other members of the specific hall that they're living in. And so there are clear protocols around sanitization and hand washing, as also the wearing of masks in those spaces. And the document that is shared by the SSDM with the student has the specifics of the requirements for living in a hall of residence. So we advise you to pay keen attention to the communication that comes to you from the university. Communication covering the broad general protocols for the campus, as also specific protocols for living in a hall of residence.
All right, thank you, Mr. McKenzie. Do we go to Major Davis?
It sounds like they were hearing him.
Yes, I'm noting in the chat that they're saying that they were hearing him. It seems that we were not able to hear him in
Thank you so very much. But
so in light of that, Major Davis, please proceed.
I was just saying that I think the matters were covered nicely by Dr. Tina and yourself, Jason. So I will wait until another question comes up then. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Our regional students want to know if there are any particular scholarship opportunities available for them. So I will ask Ms. Lawrence to respond to that.
There, on our website, you'll see awards not administered by the Office of Student Financing, and for some of those awards, regional students can apply, but really, it's the regional headquarters that students would need to contact for those types of assistance given to regional students.
Okay, thank you. There's a question here regarding tuition fees. Can we reiterate for our audience members when they can start paying tuition fees? And I feel like they can start paying any time, but so I mean, what is the deadline then? What is the latest date?
All right, so the latest date for tuition fees is September 3rd for semester 1. But they can pay at any point in time up to September 3rd for semester 1. For semester 2 is up to January 17th, but at any point in time.
All right, thank you very much.
So they can begin paying now.
They can begin paying now, right? Today. Thanks so much. So can a student who did not pay the commitment fee to secure their space still pay and accept the offer? Is what I have a question here from Primrose Kildare. Can a student who did not pay the commitment fee to secure their space still pay and accept the offer?
Good afternoon. Thank you for that question. Yes, you may still pay your commitment fee, and yes, you can still accept that offer. If the offer has been expired, all you need to do is just to send us an email, and we will refresh the expiry date. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. That was Ms. Donna Foster from our admissions section responding to that question. Okay, we have another question here from C. Gitz, and that person is asking, will students in the preliminary engineering program be required to be in Jamaica, or will all the classes be online and can be done remotely or from another country? This is the prelim engineering program. So we'll ask our deputy principal to respond to that question.
That question is best answered by the Dean of Engineering. I think that if the person has applied, then the best response would be to seek a response from the Dean of Engineering. At the moment, we know that many of our engineering courses will be offered face-to-face. At the moment, we can't say whether or not that includes the prelim courses, but the other courses, second and third year courses, many of those will be offered face-to-face. Not all of them, but I think most of them.
Okay, thank you very much, DP. Mr. McKenzie, I will ask you to respond to this next question from Sutherland, and this person wants to know when or how will we know when we have successfully gotten into our preferred hall of residence?
Okay, so the campus having pretty much decided on the courses that require persons to be here face-to-face. That decision was recently taken. And so offer letters will start coming to persons who have applied this very week. That information will be going out. So the applications are currently being processed, and you will get a response from the hall of choice. Well, at this point in time, not all of our facilities will be opened, and so you may find that you will have to stay in, probably a second or a third choice space. But the fact of the matter is that we are ready and able to take our students at this point in time, and you will receive this week letters indicating offers to reside in your hall of choice.
All right, thank you, Mr. McKenzie. There's a question here from Louis-Anne Ferguson, who has paid her miscellaneous fees. However, the NCB platform, she says, only has two options: residence and tuition. So she wants to know how will she find out if it goes to the miscellaneous?
Thank you for the question. The miscellaneous fee is under the tuition fee platform. So once you're paying for miscellaneous or commitment, if you're doing it online, you can go pay to the tuition account because it's on the tuition fee platform.
All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Graham. And this is a question regarding the student email and password. The student wants to know how soon will they get their student email and password from MITS?
Yes, you will receive your email address during the week of registration from the MITS team.
Is there a specific date of that registration week? What week is that?
August 9.
The week of August 9, is that the week? So, okay, so students will get their email and password from MITS during the week of registration, which begins August 9. Thank you very much. Okay, we have another question here from Twin. If Trinidad is a contributing country, does a student still have to pay the international fee as any other non-contributing country, for example, the US? Mr. Jonathan Archie, our Deputy Registrar, will respond to that question.
Hi, good afternoon, and thanks for that question. The answer to that question, it is that it is dependent on the program in which the student is admitted to. There are some programs, even though Trinidad and Tobago is a contributing country, that there are some programs that the government does not cover. And therefore, if you are in such a program and you are considered to be in a self-financing program, you would pay a standard fee as all students would pay being in that program.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Archie. And while we're on the matter of students from Trinidad, we have another question here regarding if a student from Trinidad who is able to access GATE funding, will they be considered non-sponsored or sponsored, as non-sponsored or sponsored student, if they're able to access the GATE funding?
For the GATE, it is again dependent on the program that they are doing.
Okay.
So whether financing or UGC is dependent on the program.
Okay, all right, thank you. I hope that provides some clarity to our student. This was from Nicole, who has submitted a number of questions in the chat. All right, so we are going to move over to Dean Paul. We're going to ask you to help us to respond to this one. We have a student here asking if they're going to be getting assistance in selecting their courses as first-year medical students.
Thanks for that question. Like I said, some programs have a wider choice, wider option for choosing courses. First-year medical science is MBBS. The courses are all prescribed. So everything that is that you have to register for, you basically have no choice. It sounds, I hope that doesn't sound bad, but it actually, there's a prescribed list of courses. So it actually is quite easy. You will get guidance though if you have any questions or any queries during the orientation period. There is a lot of support from both our staff and students. We have seasoned students who are there also supporting the orientation. But in short, the MBBS program courses from year 1 to year 5 are pretty much laid out and prescribed with really no option for choosing as such based on the way the program is designed.
All right, thank you, Dean Paul. And on the matter of advising, what are the different options available to students for academic advising?
Well, fairly straightforward. Each faculty has academic advising set up where faculty members and members who are within the system, some administrators play that role, but largely faculty members are trained to give advice on the programs. And the model really is that during the time that the student stays with the faculty, they are attached to an academic advisor. And what you find in the early part of the program, the transition period can be more challenging, and that's where a lot of, as I said earlier in my talk, you want to be sure you're choosing the right courses, that you're actually registering appropriately, etc. And that's where the advising is important at the startup. But throughout the program, the advisor that you have attached to you will help to support you, troubleshoot issues, give you support with programs that you might have challenging with or with courses, and take you through. But the model is really each student has an academic advisor supporting them through the journey through the program.
Thank you very much, Dean Paul. I will also go on to add that there is an academic advisor or program lead for the academic support unit, Ms. Janelle Morgan. She sits in the Office of the Director of Student Services and Development, and she also provides much needed assistance and guidance as it relates to students, going through the process of academic, choosing their course and stuff like that. Okay. Another question here, is there a deadline for students to change their courses which they were offered for ones which they prefer to do? And I'm going to assume that this is for a first-year student. So we'll ask Ms. Foster from admissions to take this one. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You would want to change your program or request a change for a program in advance of registration, because you would not want registration to get into registration week and you're still not certain as to what you would like to pursue. So you may want to do that in advance of registration.
Is there, Ms. Foster, if I could add, is there any opportunity though if a student would have post-registration week wanted to change their courses? Is there any opportunity for them to do that?
Well, it depends on if there is space, if we have spaces available. Let us say it's for one of those quota programs where we do not have space, then they won't be able to get a change at that time. So I'm suggesting that if you need to change your program, then you may need to do that now.
Okay, thank you. All right, the time is now. Okay, question here from Errol Marsh. How do I get a letter from the school to bring to PATH if your child is on the PATH program? How do I get a letter from the school to bring to PATH if your child is on the PATH program? So any one of our officials can respond to this one.
No, I just asking, Ms. Lawrence to look at that, because is it in relation, we're not too clear on this, is it in relation to benefiting from the $100,000 support if you are a PATH beneficiary in secondary school? Because that would not require a letter. It really is just filling out the application form, and then that can become available to you as long as you benefited from PATH at the secondary level. And you're here at the tertiary level, you will get that support once you apply. So I'm not certain if that is what the question is seeking to answer, But I would recommend that the person reach out directly to the Office of Student Financing, since that is the space that really monitors
that
and relates to matters in relation to PATH.
Okay, and if it's possible for us to just put the OSF, Office of Student Financing information back up if it's possible, so that the persons can reach out. That question was from Errol Marsh, and I hope that you can get some clarity. Ms. Lawrence wants to add.
I just want to add, when applying for the PATH bursary, one of the important things to have is a PATH household number, and that helps the PATH office to identify which family you're from. So that would more be suitable to helping them in identifying whether or not they're on the PATH program from secondary to tertiary.
And then get the benefits accordingly. All right, thank you so much, Ms. Lawrence. We have another question here from Mary Agbula. After accepting the offer of admission, how will new students proceed to register for their courses? So if we could reiterate that. I know we went through, so the person has received their admission letter, they've accepted it. How do they now proceed through registration?
Well, first of all, you may want to seek academic counseling. You may want to get academic counseling before you proceed to register, because you wouldn't want to go on and put on a course that you are not eligible for. So it is advisable that you seek academic counseling before you proceed to do any form of registration.
Okay, and provided that they would have done that, how do they then proceed? Mr. Archie, you want to add to that one?
Just to provide some additional details. So earlier we said that the registration process will open for semester 1 on August 9th. The portal will be open from August 9th to September 17th, whereby students can register, select courses, add and drop courses without penalty. So it provides an opportunity. There is adequate time for our students to select courses. As Mrs. Foster just said, it is important for our new students to go through the process of academic advising from their faculties and their departments, which Dean Paul mentioned earlier. So we recommend, even though the portal will be opened and students can select courses, for course, their handbook is available online as well. They can read through, and courses that they are sure about, they can add to their student record. And whereby there are instances whereby adjustments need to be made, they have time over a month to make those adjustments.
Thank you very much, Mr. Archie. I think also the orientation period, Mr. Mackenzie, will help with that.
All right, so just to follow in that vein, there is orientation for all our students. The week of August 25 is when we'll have orientation. So there's a special orientation for regional international students on August 25. On August 27, we have orientation for all new undergraduate students, right? Following that, the week of August 30 through to September 3, we'll have faculty orientation. And so we invite you students to make sure that you benefit from the orientation sessions organized for your benefit, intentionally so, by the faculties. Because at these sessions, you'll get detailed information specific to your faculty that will benefit you in the registration process. So a general orientation will take you to a step-by-step guide for registration. But more importantly, you will get specific details at your faculty orientation. So we just want to urge you, parents and students who are on, to take note of the information on orientation and make sure that you are present, or your child is present, for the orientation sessions that we have planned for you. There's also orientation specific to our new graduate students, right? So I think September 3rd is a date for that, and we invite you to be a part of that as well if you're in that category of a graduate student. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Mackenzie, because that takes care of our question about the orientation dates, right? So it's August 27 for our general undergraduate students to have orientation. faculty orientation begins the following week, and we have our graduate students, our new graduate students orientation on September 3, and all of those orientation events are virtual. All right, all of those are virtual. Okay, we're on to another question here. Back to you, Dean Paul. When will the registration for medical sciences faculty begin? Is this different from the regular registration period?
No, there's no difference. It actually fits in with the dates that were mentioned before. So, can't recall the exact dates, but the same. Once registration is open, the FMS students, medical science students, can register. And I think just to reiterate the point Mr. McKenzie made, that I think he made it very well, but let me say it again. At the faculty orientation, somebody had asked earlier what courses to choose. It's explicitly clear there, but even before that, you have the handbook and you have guides and so on, but you'll have no doubt as to what, based on the program you've chosen, whether physical therapy, nursing, etc., you'll be given very clear guidance on what other courses you should be signing up for. But the registration is within the same period.
Thank you very much, Dr. Paul. We have another question here from Ms. Agbula. Can new students register for courses before paying any acceptance fees? Are students able to register at all before paying fees?
Hello? Yes, the quick answer to that question is yes. Students can register before paying fees.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Archie. If a student has applied for scholarships and the results have not come out before the fee deadline, what can be done for that student? How should they proceed? We'll ask Ms. Lawrence from our Office of Student Financing to respond to that one.
Students can still apply for scholarships. By the time we get around to shortlisting candidates, we will have access to their CXC or their CAPE grades at that time. If it's an external award, however, they will have to make sure that the documents get to the right persons.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. McKenzie would have already responded to that about Hall of Residence responses to that going out this week into the next. So we'll move on. We have a student here. We actually had a few questions, a few of these questions. When will law acceptances be issued? Yeah, this question came a bit. When will law acceptances be issued? Ms. Foster, thank you for responding.
Well, I don't know if the person is asking about provisional offers being converted to firm offers, or if the person is just an applicant who is already qualified. We have dispatched most of the offers for the law program. The only ones most of the ones that we have left to do are provisional offers that may be converted to firm offers. And during the course of this week, we will be dispatching some of those. But for those persons who are currently qualified, we have dispatched most of those offers. But as the time goes by, we will be looking at all the applications that we have, all the applications that we have left to be processed. And if there is someone who is qualified and have not yet received an offer, we will be dispatching them in short order.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Foster. A question here regarding fees again. Will doing level 1 courses outside of your faculty require that you pay additionally for that course? Will doing a level 1 course outside of your faculty require that you pay an additional sum for that course?
Okay, if, again, this is determined on the program, but the general answer would be no. For example, if you're in the social sciences faculty and you do 4 courses in social sciences but 1 in pure applied, you're paying the same rate. If you're a law student and you're paid for the law fee, you're doing an outer faculty course, along with the fees we're billing you for the law program. So it's depending on the program that you are registered for and the faculty.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Graham. Blair Santos wants to know if there will be a list, or if there is currently a list of which programs will be offered in person versus the courses, the programs which will be offered fully online. Deputy Principal?
Short answer to that is not as yet.
Okay.
That will be done during the course of August. So by the time the student is registered, all of these things will be known.
Okay.
But not as yet. I should point out that the overwhelming majority of the courses will be online. So more than likely, unless you are in 3rd, 4th, or 5th year medical sciences, more than likely, or engineering, more than likely your course will be online. The face-to-face courses are largely those that are involved labs or clinicals, so that more than likely, if the person is in social sciences, humanities, law, etc., their courses will most certainly be online.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Boxill. We have another question here from Malcolm Brown, who is asking, will first-year students whose classes, on the matter of classes being online, whose classes are completely online, be expected to pay the full tuition fee?
Yes.
So we could reiterate for that. I see our registrar moving to the mic with veracity. So yes, Dr. Sandbury.
Good afternoon, everybody. Yes, the fees are based on the delivery of programs, whether online or face-to-face. There's a myth out there that online require less resources, financial resources, for us to deliver. That's not true. So the fees quoted are for delivery, whether face-to-face or online. So there's no discount if you are doing purely online classes.
Okay, thank you very much, Registrar. There's a student here who wants to know if preliminary science will be online or face-to-face. Labs are usually conducted. Preliminary science. So I think this person has the course has a lab component. So can we safely say that it's likely for it to be face-to-face?
Okay, so I want to reiterate.
Yeah.
Going forward, the overwhelming majority of our courses will be online. There are 2 faculties where some of their courses will be face-to-face, and that's the engineering, Faculty of Engineering, and medical sciences. However, the faculties that have a lab component or a clinical component, those courses will be offered face-to-face. So what I'm saying is that unless you're in engineering or the Faculty of Medical Sciences, more than likely your courses will be offered online. The lab component, if you have a lab component, that will be offered face-to-face.
Okay, I'll go ahead and ask DP on behalf of our attendees. Will students who will be required to come face-to-face, in what way or when might they be notified of that?
Well, I think, first of all, we have to hear what will be happening next week. The Prime Minister indicated that he will be making an important set of announcements on Tuesday after Cabinet.
Yes.
And it is important that we should point out that our decisions about how we conduct our classes, that decision is also influenced by what happens at the national level. So that's the first thing. But secondly, we expect that final decisions relating to the online versus face-to-face, that all of that information will be finished by the end of this month. So come first week of August, that information should be available to our students.
Okay, thank
But
you.
again, let me reiterate.
I won't ask again
It
any more
is
questions on that.
largely, we're talking about face-to-face components for the lab components and the clinicals. And we will have some face-to-face in the Faculty of Medical Sciences and Engineering. For all of the other faculties, we are going online.
Online.
Or we remain online, I should say.
Right. Thank you, DP. Thank you for that. Where can students find information about tuition fees? Are all those fees up and ready for students to look at?
All the tuition fees for the 2021 academic year are up and running. You can go to Check Fees UWI Mona. It's online. Go into Google, type in Check Fees UWI Mona. You'll see for undergraduate, postgraduate, housing, and for miscellaneous. So it's Check Fees UWI Mona. And the first link that comes up, there you can do your fees.
Okay, check. Thank you very much, Mr. Graham. And I'll ask a question about an installment plan very quickly. You would have gone through the installment plan. I'm going to ask you to go through that again and then specifically speak to whether or not there are installment or is an installment plan available for housing.
Okay, so the installment plan deadline is the 17th of September, that's first. It will be open though on the 5th of August. Yes, we have an installment plan for residents. For new students specifically, ensure that you pay your miscellaneous fees. You are fully registered, meaning that you have selected all your courses that you intend to do for the semester. The plans are semester based. So it's open August 5th. For tuition, you register for your tuition in full. You pay the miscellaneous fees and you pay 25% of the semester's fee. So remember the tuition fee is $292, $348. You split that in a half. You pay 25% of the half, should be about 35,000, 36,000 thereabout, plus the miscellaneous fees, and you register for the tuition installment plan. When you register for the plan, you have 3 months to complete the payment. You have the end of September, the end of October, and the end of November to complete the payment for the tuition installment. For the resident installment, you pay whatever hall you're on. You're going to pay the semester, 25% of the semester's fee for that specific hall. And then you have the next 3 months again, September, October, and November to complete the payments. If you are a returning student, which you should not have here, but if you're returning students, then you have to cover all prior year balances. Right.
Thank you, very well. Thank you, Ms. Graham. All right, we have a question here regarding, medical insurance. If students will have medical coverage, and if so, what does that look like? Our campus registrar will take that one.
Yes, thank you very much. Embedded in the miscellaneous fees is a component for medical insurance. We have in fact concluded those arrangements with our carrier, and once a student pays his or her miscellaneous fees, there will be a health card available for you, which will be distributed from just behind SAS on the ground floor, just behind the cashiers at the bursary. So you need not worry about insurance. It's in place.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Stanbury. Will students, and this is a question from Xander Bennett, my apologies, Ruth Lynn Matthews, are students required, students who will be coming in for face-to-face classes on campus, will they be required to be vaccinated in order to come to classes face-to-face?
So at the moment, we don't have that because we don't have the vaccinations and we don't have confirmation as to when we're getting. But as soon as we have confirmation that they're opening up vaccinations for more persons, then we're going to highly recommend that students get vaccinated.
Okay, thank you very much. Dr. Hilton Kong. Okay, we have another question here regarding provisional acceptance. If a student has received a provisional acceptance, will they still be able to attend classes before the faculty prerequisites are out?
Okay, thank you very much. For the Faculty of Law, for persons with a minimum of, say, two twos and a 1, you will be given a firm offer in the days ahead. For the persons below that, you will be given a guest link to access your classes until the results are official. For the Faculty of Science and Technology, for those persons, for programs like actuarial science and computer science, for those persons with grades 1 to 3 in the relevant subjects, you will receive a firm offer. For the persons who do not have those grades, then we will be looking at your application to give you an offer for the BSc General. For all the other provisional offers that we have given, we will be converting those offers into firm offers. So that's the position right now.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Foster. A student, an attendee here is asking if having a double major affects their tuition fees. If they're pursuing a double major, does that impact their tuition? Our Deputy Registrar will respond to that question.
The answer to that question is no. Once you are in a program and you are approved to do a double major or even a minor, you are billed a set fee each semester or academic year, and that will be the fee once you are pursuing whatever double major, minor, or a single major.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Mackenzie, our Director of Student Services here. Students are asking if hall applications, so we know you spoke to offers going out this week into next, but are the hall applications actually still open? Can persons apply?
Certainly. We welcome your applications, so living residents, considering you may be getting information now regarding your course and that it may be offered face-to-face. So yes, we are open to receiving applications at this point in time.
Okay, is there a close-off date, Mr. Mackenzie?
No, it's very, we're very flexible at this point in time. We're cognizant of the challenges of the day, and so we want to be able to facilitate and accommodate our students. So we'll continue to entertain offers at this point in time.
Okay. While we're on this matter, for our regional and international students who will be coming in, and can we speak a little about airport pickup? Do we assist with that for students?
So certainly it's something that we offer for our regional and international students. As you benefit from the webinar series organized by International Office, you'll get specific details around that. What we can say to you now, though, is that from the period of the 20th, August 20 through to September 5, we'll be offering airport pickup for our regional international students. We want to get our students to the campus in as safe a manner as possible. Therefore, a letter would have gone out to you to indicate an email address to which you will send your flight information. So our lodgings office manages that process. You write to us to say that you're coming on X flight at X date, arriving at X time, and then now we'll further communicate to you and make arrangement for pickup at the airport. If it is that you're coming outside of the times that we're able to do so, then we, which is late at nights and on weekends, that we will encourage you to make use of the JUTA arrangement. The campus has that kind of system with JUTA. They'll get you here safely, but that transportation comes at your own expense. And so the document, there is a letter from the International Office which details all of what I've said just now. The time frame for pickup and the alternative arrangement. If it is that you're coming at a time when our shuttle bus system from the Office of Student Services and Development is unable to pick you up.
All right, thanks, Mr. Mackenzie. While I have you here on the mic, can you speak to, there's a question here about provisions for students with disabilities. Could you speak to that, please? No, it's a wide question, but...
Right. So, first and foremost, if by chance you missed including in your application form that you have a disability, there's still an opportunity for you to register with us through the Office of Students with Special Needs. We encourage you to do so because a university is a diverse space, and we want to be able to better support and to help our students with disabilities. So through my office, there's a center that is organized and designed to do so. So we ask that you register with this office so that we can lend support to you as you spend your time here with us. And so we cater to a range of disabilities to include, physical disabilities, learning disabilities, and so on. So please register with us. And once you have done so, we'll take you through the specific details that you need to have as we support you in your journey here.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Mackenzie. Back over to Ms. Graham from the bursary. The installment plan that you refer to, does it cater to only full-time students, or is this for part-time students as well?
All right, so the installment plan is for full-time, part-time, undergraduate, postgraduate. Once you are not able to pay the tuition in full, you have exhausted all other options, the installment plan is applicable to you.
Okay, thank you. And we have a question here about student loan. If you have not received, if a student has made the application to the Student Loan Bureau, they have not received any response by the deadline for payment, what should that student do? How do they proceed?
So for the university and the student loan, we have a special relationship. So once you have made an application, you can be at 5 status A, B, C, D, or E. D and E is when you're ready to disperse the funds. If you're at A, B, or C, we have a listing that we get from Student Loan Daily that tells us where on the listing you are. So if it's current in the semester and you come and check on it, we tell you where you are, tell you what you need to go back to speak to them to complete whatever documentation needs to be completed, and you have that sorted out. If it's done in the academic year now where the exams are and you need to be at a D or E in order to do your exams, then we'll have to send you back to SLB to complete whatever documentations. But once you're an SLB student, we have a listing with you, your name is on the listing, then you're basically good to go until you are at status D and E.
Okay.
As long as you have completed your part with SLB.
Right, because this sounds like it will require, Ms. Graham, the student to be in contact to do the legwork.
Yes,
and
they have to do the legwork. So,
right.
So you're not completed until you're at status D, ready for disbursement. Status E is when it's disbursed. You're not completed until you're at that status.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, we have a question here.
Sorry, just
yes.
addition. If you have not completed that, if you know that you're having problems, you can go on the installment plan, and you will actually be okay while you're waiting on SLB to finish documentation.
Okay, thanks, Ms. Graham. Ms. Foster, perhaps you could respond to this question from Tashiana Collins. I was told that program transfers within the same faculty, for example, econ to banking and finance and economics, are not available to first-year students. Is this still the case?
Okay. If you're just coming in, then what you need to do is to ask us to add that program to your application. However, if you are going to be transferred after a year's work, after you have studied for a year, that would not be a faculty transfer. That would be a change of major. So you would apply through the SAS, the Student Administrative System, for a change of major from economics, from economics to banking and finance.
Okay, just before you proceed, Mrs. Robinson, I see the hand raised from our bursar, Mrs. Catherine Park Thwaites. So I'm going to invite her to speak at this point in time. Madam Bursong.
Yes, good afternoon. I just wanted to stress something that Candice raised a while ago. The relationship between the student who is borrowing from the Student Loan Bureau and ourselves is that it is the responsibility of the student to meet the requirements of the Student Loan Bureau. As Candice pointed out, categories A, B, C, and D do not require the Student Loan Bureau to make any commitment to the university for payment. Without a commitment for payment, students need to recognize that they will be in a peculiar situation as we approach exams. Class E is the one where, just as Candice says, they're ready for disbursement. Each one of those categories at Student Loan Bureau requires direct contact by the student, by their guarantor, by their parents, with their permission, to figure out what it is that is missing from their application. But unless the Student Loan Bureau is willing to commit to approving the application and therefore processing payment, we will be treating the account as unpaid. Thank you, Jason.
Just about two more questions. We have one here that is asking, is it possible for a student to get accepted for a faculty after starting university in September, being that most of our CAPE results will not be released until September? I'll repeat that question. Is it possible for a student to get accepted for a faculty after starting university in September, being that most of our CAPE results will not be released until September?
Okay, we are not planning to give late offers because this sometimes poses a problem to the student in accessing classes on time. But we will be looking at what we have. We cannot rule this out at the moment. Let us say, well, we are getting the results maybe around about the same time as last year. So at that time, it may be too late because that would be like about 4 weeks of classes would have gone. So that might be too late. So let us look at what we have. Please communicate with our office so that we can look at the individual case and see how best we can assist.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Foster. Mr. McKenzie, as it relates to students who are allowed to move into our residential spaces because their program offering is being offered face-to-face, are parents or family members allowed to come to help them with setup?
So certainly, I think, Dr. Tomlin Paul ably spoke about the support that we need from our parents. And so parents are welcome to come into the country to take up residence in a space that they're able to. That may be one of our local hotels. It may be through the offering through our partner in 1-3 student living. They may stay in that space. But unfortunately, because of our very strict COVID protocols, we won't be allowing our parents into the hall of residence. So you can take your child to the hall of residence, but access to the facility, unfortunately, we won't be able to accommodate that at this point in time because we have very strict protocols for entering into that space. So in fact, only the student is allowed to enter into the space. So the parent may travel to the campus with the student. For those who may be coming from overseas, you may travel from overseas with the student, stay in a facility that you're able to, but to access the physical plant that is the hall of residence, you won't be able to do that. So you will rely on the information from the hall of residence to know what curtains because there are parents who want to be registrar, continue to be integrally involved in the life of a child in terms of picking out curtains and spread and those kind of things. The information that you get from the hall will tell you the kind of bed and what you may need for that support and so on. You may be able to look at some images online and that kind of a thing. But to go into the space physically, we are not permitting that at this point in time. But we welcome the support in the forms that I've mentioned just now.
All right, thank you very much, Director. A question here about the English language proficiency test, the ELPT. A person here wants to know, how will they know if they need to take it, and how would they proceed?
Thank you. For the English language proficiency test, if you have English language with grade 1, or communication skills with communication studies rather, with grade 1 or grade 2, then you will not have to sit the proficiency test. Anything outside of that, then you will have to do the English language proficiency test.
Okay.
Any information as to when the tests are being offered?
Persons may view the information on the website. Just go to the English language proficiency test unit to peruse the information that is there. I think, I think there's a date for early August, and usually persons would have to register prior to that date. So please visit the English language proficiency test unit website and peruse all the information that is there.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Foster. And this will be our last question, Mr. Mackenzie, because a number of the questions coming in have already been answered. And so I will say to our guests online that you can access this event right after. You can play it again and go through the presentations on demand at your own time and get responses to some of these questions that you're asking. So we have here a person though who wants to know if they're doing classes online, will they still need to do a medical to submit a medical along with their application forms if they're doing classes online?
As far as I am aware, your medical is part of your application process, and it is very useful for us to review and to see how we can help if needed.
If needs be. All right, thank you very much, Dr. Hilton Kong. So that will be it, Mr. Mackenzie, for this question and answer segment. So over to you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Robinson, for guiding us through that important question and answer section. We are truly thankful, parents, family members, we're truly thankful for your spending the better part of your Sunday afternoon with us. The fact that you stay the course, we know you consider this to be important. We sincerely hope that we would have provided you with information that will be helpful to you as you plan for your child or your ward getting into the university space. Just want to share and remind you that we have our orientation activities that will be coming up. Orientation for regional international students on August 25. Orientation for all new undergraduate students on August 27. Orientation for all new graduate students on September 2. September 2, we'll do the general activities, and on September 3, you'll benefit from the orientation in your faculties. That's for graduate students. The week of August 30 is when we will have faculty orientation. The schedule will be made available to you through our websites, through our orientation website, through your faculty websites, and so on. But we want for you to bear these dates in mind. Before we get to these activities, we have a major activity on August 12th. It's a first-year experience festival, which is a university-wide function. So all the campuses of the university, all our new students across all campus will be engaged in a grand FYE festival on August 12th, where you'll be, introduced to the university broadly, so forth and so on that date. And it's a date that I want you to bear in mind. You'll get specific and particular details around that particular event. But in keeping with our One University thrust, we'll be having this activity on August 12th. So we ask that you bear these dates in mind and that you join us, in these activities. We just want to, once again, thank our parents for spending the afternoon with us. We thank you for your commitment to the advancement of your student. Thank you for choosing the UWI, and we look forward to working with you throughout the course of this particular year and beyond as we support your child on this journey, as we seek to help them to succeed. We wish for you the very, very best, and we ask that you continue to stay safe amid the challenges of COVID-19. And certainly, we look forward to receiving your students, whether it be online or in the physical space. Thank you so very much. Thank you to all our presenters who shared with us, all those who responded to questions that were asked, to our technical team, MITS, for the tremendous sacrifice that you made and the tremendous work that you do. Our technical support, electrical, all those who had responsibility for the council room, all those who are on Zoom, online, supporting this event, my dynamic team of student service and development managers, administrative support. We truly thank you, and we look forward to a wonderful 2021-2022 academic year. Blessings to all.